Hello. Welcome back to Module 2, Searching as Strategic Exploration. Today, we'll cover Section 2, Blueprint for Discovery. This will be the first of two videos that cover this section. In this particular video, you will learn some common research terms, while, in the second part, you will hear about research strategies and discover the types of resources that are available to you. When first beginning, research can seem to be a challenge. In a study at Illinois Wesleyan University, the majority of students, of all levels, who participated, exhibited significant difficulties that ranged across nearly every aspect of the search process. To be successful, you will need to determine the research process that allows for locating a variety of perspectives and responses to the research question. Becoming proficient at using the varying and changing formats that can be found among research materials is something else you will need to accomplish. In order to succeed in your academic goals, you should learn how to use electronic databases, ebooks, the Library of Congress classification system, and print books and journals. You should understand and analyze the capabilities and limitations of these different resource delivery methods. Let's talk for a minute about terms related to research. A short definition of a primary source is any type of information that is original and uninterpreted. These can include eyewitness reports such as photographs and interviews, memoirs, diaries, oral histories, and correspondence, literary works like novels, plays, and poems, artwork, newspaper articles in the first stages of an event, clinical trials, testimony, including congressional hearings and court proceedings, documentary films that are comprised entirely of first-person narratives, data, statistics, and census reports, and social media posts such as tweets, texts, status updates, and original blogs. A secondary source is information that has been assembled from primary or other secondary sources and analyzed, interpreted, or repackaged, such as non-fiction books, including biographies and textbooks, journal or magazine articles, retrospective newspaper articles, reviews, criticism, and meta-analysis, analysis of a clinical trial, documentary films that research the topic of the film, commentaries, dictionaries, an article or website that synthesizes a number of sources for a new understanding of an event, and social media posts including pins on Pinterest, retweets, shared posts, or links to other content. One thing to remember is that secondary sources may become primary sources if the latter ceases to exist. Tertiary sources are those that provide a synthesis, summary, or overview of information compiled from primary and secondary sources. These can include Wikipedia, almanacs, bibliographies, biographical dictionaries and encyclopedias, handbooks and manuals, factbooks, guidebooks, and indexes, abstracts, and bibliographies used to locate primary and secondary sources. Peer review is one method of guaranteeing research integrity in the scholarly communication system. Think of it as quality assurance before publication. The primary goal of peer review is to assist a publisher in issuing only those works that meet the standards of the academic field in question. Those that fail to meet academic rigor are rejected. Often, two or more peer experts review the same manuscript to ensure the implied imprimatur of authenticity and authority is earned. In one form or another, this practice has been in existence since at least 1731, when the Royal Society of Edinburgh began publishing the journal Medical Essays and Observations. The preface for the first volume of Medical Essays and Observations set forth the process. Memoirs sent by correspondence are distributed according to the subject matter to those members who are most versed in these matters. The report of their identity is not known to the author. The Royal Society of London followed suit in 1752 by creating a committee on papers to review articles. Like any human-designed endeavor, it is not a perfect system, and sometimes reviewer bias, reviewer conflict of interest, and intellectual property rights issues can be injected into the process. No one truly knows the total number of scholarly journals currently published in the world, but the general estimate seems to be approximately 30,000. One researcher estimated in 2010 that 50 million articles had been published since both Le Journal des Savants and the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society first began in 1665. As one example of the digital age's effects, the National Center for Science and Engineering Statistics reported that 2.9 million science and engineering articles were published worldwide in just 2020. This does not consider the journals publishing in the arts and humanities, the social sciences, and medicine and health, as well as the books that discuss every field. Given the sheer volume going out into the world, it stands to reason that peer review would be a hugely important undertaking. During the process, peers review a researcher's work on the basis on their own knowledge and expertise in the same field. These reviewers, or referees as they are sometimes called, evaluate submissions on the basis of the quality of the writing, the accuracy of the research, the appropriateness of best practice recommendations, the rigor of research design and methodology, the relevance of cited sources, the validity and soundness of arguments and conclusions, the proper explanation of results, the strength of the connections drawn between the research findings and the existing literature, the reproducibility of findings where appropriate, whether the manuscript adds to existing knowledge in the academic field, and whether the research is accompanied by a conflict of interest. Since reviewers act as recognized experts in evaluating a work, they are incentivized to be forthright in their report to the publisher lest they suffer damage to their professional reputations. Sometimes, reviewers leave any grammar or spelling issues to the publisher's editors. The peer review process allows authors to strengthen the quality and clarity of their manuscript if needed. They also gain prominence in their field when they are published in a peer review journal. This can lead to academic rewards such as grants and fellowships, so academic authors are also motivated to put forth their best work. Self-publishing on the internet has grown in recent years, and posted papers have frequently not been submitted to the rigor of peer review. Indeed, one of the largest issues that scholars have with Wikipedia is the lack of peer review. Using material of this type will increase the amount of work you need to do to evaluate sources and determine the truth of claims. At this stage of your academic careers, you would be best served by consulting peer-reviewed sources wherever possible. Peer reviews come in three forms. The single-blind review is one in which the reviewer knows the author's name, credentials, and institutional affiliation, but the author is unaware of the reviewer's identity. This frees the reviewer to write his report without the fear of an offended author seeking reprisals. On the other hand, the reviewer may engage in bias or feel uninhibited in being harsh toward the work. The single-blind review is common in the scientific journals. The double-blind review is one in which neither the reviewer nor the author know each other's identities and affiliations. This frees both the reviewer and the author from any preconceptions and pressures. Some critics allege authors may be identified by writing style, subject matter, and self-citation. This kind of review can be found in the social science and humanities journals. The open review is one in which the reviewer and the author are known to one another. Additionally, the name and comments of the reviewer may be published alongside the author's article. Adherents hail the transparency of the process, while critics assert reviews may be less candid, critical, or rigorous. As the name suggests, this type of review is found in open access publishing. The last thing we'll consider in this video is publication dates. So, is the publication date of a source important? Within some academic disciplines, information can remain relevant for a lengthy period of time while sources can become quickly outdated in others. Try to find the most up-to-date information possible. Be aware, though, that including classic or landmark sources can add context when they are applicable to the topic. Should you limit your search to a specific time period? Are you looking at how a phenomenon was understood during a particular point in time? Will you need to include a perspective that can only be realized through the passing of years? The answers to these questions will depend on your research focus. Next time, we'll complete Section 2 by looking at search strategies and categories of available resources. Until then, thank you for your time. If you want to learn more about the subjects we have discussed, here are the sources used for this section.